BTS's recent livestream, though only a few minutes long, offered a clear opportunity to observe the interaction between Jungkook and Taehyung. They shared moments that demonstrated a remarkable closeness between them. No matter where they were in the room, their attention to each other was constant. This connection was visible through their glances and gestures, which could hardly be hidden when affection was so evident. Throughout the broadcast, in a space with other people, Jungkook and Taehyung maintained a mutual focus. Their eyes constantly sought each other, meeting again and again. When their gazes met, their facial expressions subtly shifted, soft smiles appearing and transforming their faces. In those moments, they seemed to enter their own world, disconnected from their surroundings. Jungkook showed a clear inclination towards Taehyung during the livestream. On multiple occasions, he turned to look directly at him, a gesture he repeated even when his physical position wasn't the most comfortable. This constant action of searching for Taehyung with his eyes denotes genuine admiration and a need to maintain eye contact with him. On the other hand, Taehyung has a characteristic way of observing Jungkook. He does so silently, with his hand resting on his chin, a gesture that his fans have identified as a habit when he's contemplating Jungkook. Even without following his line of sight, it's possible to know that Taehyung is looking at Jungkook because of this distinctive posture. A revealing moment occurred when Namjoon mentioned that Jungkook had helped with the logo design and that he spent a lot of time drawing on his iPad during his time in the United States. Upon hearing this, Taehyung's facial expression changed noticeably. A soft smile appeared on his face, a clear reflection of the pride he feels for Jungkook's talent. This change was immediate and natural, showing how Jungkook's achievements generate a positive emotional reaction in Taehyung. Pride and affection became visible in that instant through his expression. Another noteworthy aspect was their synchronization at a specific moment during the broadcast. Taehyung waited for Jungkook to finish drinking water before making a simultaneous gesture. This coordination suggests it's a habit they share, something they've repeated on numerous occasions. Over the years, the dynamic between Jungkook and Taehyung has remained constant. Their connection hasn't diminished with time, on the contrary, it seems to have strengthened. The affection they have for each other is evident in their glances, smiles, and gestures, revealing a deep intimacy. These interactions don't require words to be understood, their facial expressions and body language speak for themselves. In Japan, izakayas are special places where people go to relax, have drinks, and enjoy delicious food. The name izakaya comes from 3 Japanese words that together mean a place to stay, drink, and feel comfortable. These establishments can vary greatly, some specialize in fresh fish, others in meat, and some serve dishes typical of each region of the country. They are like cozy bars where people can spend hours chatting while enjoying drinks and food. Recently, a particular izakaya became quite popular because it was visited by Taehyung and Jungkook. After their visit, the owner posted a photo of the autographs they left and publicly thanked them for being there. This gesture from the owner sparked a frenzy, as many people flocked to the izakaya to see for themselves where the 2 boys had sat. Some even took photos in the same seats Taehyung and Jungkook occupied during their date. This visit proved something some had doubted: Taehyung and Jungkook are still dating. Some people had said they'd never even been on a date or that their relationship was over, but this test at the Japanese izakaya proved otherwise. Their love hasn't died, it's more alive than ever, and they show it every day with actions like this, choosing quiet, public places to spend time together and enjoy each other's company like any other couple. The spot where Taekook sat at the izakaya is very romantic, right next to a window that lets in soft, dim light. It's easy to imagine them there, sitting across from each other, gazing into each other's eyes while sharing an intimate meal. These private moments they choose to share with the world from time to time are a direct window into the depth of their relationship. A love that has lasted more than 10 years and seems to grow stronger every day, regardless of what others say. According to the photos that circulated, Taehyung and Jungkook signed 2 different autographs at the izakaya. This detail might seem small, but it shows that their visit wasn't rushed or impromptu. They had enough time to relax, talk, and interact with the place naturally. Their relationship is intimate and personal, but at the same time, they don't completely hide it. They simply choose which moments to share with the world and which to keep just for themselves, perfectly balancing their public and private lives. Furthermore, it's worth remembering that during the last live stream the boys did, Taehyung demonstrated a deep knowledge of the desserts at the place the other members were mentioning. This makes you wonder how many other romantic dates Taekook has had in similar places that we'll never know about, unless they decide to share them. Every time Taehyung mentioned creme brulee in his characteristic way, it was clear how well he knows Jungkook's tastes. Their love is that beautiful, something that is noticeable in the small details, in the preferences that one learns from the other over time, demonstrating that despite the years, nothing has changed between them, but rather their relationship has become stronger and more authentic. Jungkook isn't someone who usually says everything he thinks with direct words. He prefers to show his feelings through his actions, his gestures, and the small details he does every day. For example, when he adjusts Taehyung's microphone without being asked, or when he saves his spot on the sofa during interviews, he's communicating something important without needing to speak. People who have followed his story for many years know how to interpret these signals and perfectly understand who Jungkook is paying special attention to, who he feels most comfortable with, and who brings out that particular smile that only appears when Taehyung is around. What's interesting is how Taehyung seems to know Jungkook's most intimate tastes. In a recent broadcast, when the members were talking about desserts, Taehyung mentioned creme brulee in his characteristic way, showing that he knows exactly what Jungkook's favorite dessert is. This makes you think of all the times they've gone out to eat together at similar places, sharing moments we might never know about unless they decide to tell us. Every time Taehyung mentioned the name of that dessert, it became very clear how well he knows the details that Jungkook likes, something that only comes from spending a lot of time together and paying attention to the little things that matter. The relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung has grown naturally over the years. It didn't start overnight, but rather has been built little by little with every shared experience, every trip, and every private conversation. When they were younger, their connection was evident in their constant pranks and jokes, but now it manifests as a deeper understanding and mutual support during important moments. This evolution shows that their bond is strong because it's not based on superficiality, but on the real knowledge they have of each other, their flaws and virtues, their fears and dreams. A fundamental aspect of their relationship is how they communicate without words. There are times when a simple gesture from Taehyung is enough for Jungkook to understand exactly what he needs, and vice versa. This silent connection is clearly visible at public events when they exchange glances in the crowd, or when one steps forward to help the other before they even ask. This kind of communication only develops when two people have shared enough experiences together and have learned to read each other like an open book, something that has clearly happened between them throughout their time together. What makes Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship special is that it has overcome obstacles and remained strong despite the difficulties. They have had to spend time apart due to their individual commitments, they have faced different stages in their lives, and they have dealt with the pressure of always being in the public eye. However, every time they reunite, their connection is still there, as strong as ever. This ability to withstand time and distance demonstrates that their bond is not fleeting, but rather something built on solid foundations that have withstood every test they have faced. Ultimately, what matters in Taekook's story are the real, visible moments they've shared over the years. It's not about inventing situations or exaggerating what we see, but simply recognizing the special connection between them. When Jungkook protects Taehyung during a difficult interview, or when Taehyung worries about Jungkook's health and makes sure he's okay, we're seeing something authentic that doesn't need to be forced or exaggerated. It's simply the manifestation of an affection that has grown and endured through everything, a bond that continues to evolve and will surely continue to surprise us with its depth and strength.